Hey, Beachbody friends, welcome to our team call. We are letting you in, SoulFit Nation is letting you in on a sneak peek into our team call so that I have the opportunity to share with everybody how to invite with confidence. So I went ahead and did a recording here. I'm gonna do a screen share and we're gonna bring up my desktop and bring up this PowerPoint. Can you guys give me a thumbs up if you can see this? Can you see? Okay, fantastic. So you can see my PowerPoint then? Okay, wonderful. So let's go ahead and get this party started. Can you see my PowerPoint still? Thumbs up? Okay, fantastic. Okay, let's go ahead. So thank you so much for tuning in to this call tonight. As many of you guys know, there are 4 vital behaviors now. Beachbody just introduced a very important 4th vital behavior, which is recognition. So the vital behaviors of Beachbody coaching and those behaviors that will move your business forward, if these are done every single day, if you can go to bed at night and you can say, I did all 4 of these vital behaviors, then you can have a very successful, thriving Beachbody business, okay? And those vital behaviors are being proof the products work, personal development. The 4th new vital behavior is recognition. And the vital behavior that I'm going to talk about tonight is inviting. And inviting seems to be that vital behavior that many coaches get very nervous about, very worked up. It's kind of like everybody's biggest frog, the last thing you want to do. But it does so happen to be the most important piece in getting yourself out there, exposing this blessing to others. So we need to get very comfortable with inviting. So my objective for tonight is that you guys can take away from this call some really awesome, tangible things that you can start doing to invite with confidence. So first of all, let me tell you a little bit about me. My name is Erica Buzzard. I am a mommy of 2, which is by far my greatest accomplishment in my entire life. I have 2 children, Eli and Leah, 8 and 5 years old, and they are just the sunshine every single day in my life. I'm a former teacher. I actually had the opportunity to retire from teaching at the ripe old age of 33, which is pretty exciting to be able to say. I call myself the accidental entrepreneur, and that kind of is tied in with the whole idea that I was able to retire from teaching at the age of 33. I'm an accidental entrepreneur because I was not planning to be a Beachbody coach. I was not planning to be a CEO or to be the boss of anybody except a classroom, right? Except a bunch of high school kids. And I completely stumbled upon this business because I had the opportunity to join a challenge group, and I was at a fitness plateau, and I was really, really frugal, and I was on a teacher's salary. I was working over the weekends with Natalie Johnson, who is a rock star coach on our team. And I was really living paycheck to paycheck, and I did not have the extra funds to buy Shakeology. So I used my birthday money and I bought Shakeology, and I was like, I'm going to hate this. There's no way I'm going to keep this up. And luckily the opposite happened. On day 4 of drinking Shakeology, I promise you, I felt noticeably different. I recognized that my headache was gone that I had every afternoon. I just felt better. Like I had patience. I wasn't just like a crazy person, like ready to bite everybody's head off. Like I felt good about myself from the inside. I was actually felt physically good, and I had more energy. And so I was like, okay, I need to keep doing this, and I need to do this in like the most, cost-effective way possible. So I signed up as a coach, and I guess you could say the rest is history. That was 3 years ago. And again, this was not part of the plan. I was not planning on leaving teaching. I was not, even the first year in the business, I was an Emerald coach for a year. I had no desire in that first year to really pursue this as a career whatsoever. And it wasn't until my first experience at Summit that I recognized I could do this. And if other people can have success, then I can have success. And so I want you to look at those coaches who you look up to and those coaches that you think have had great success in the business. And I want you to say, if that person can do it, then I can do it, because that is 100% true. So as you guys know, I'm the founder of SoulFit Nation. I'm so proud of all my soul brothers and soul sisters. I just get so much inspiration from this amazing group of people every single day. And collectively, SoulFit Nation worked our way into the elite status in 2015. So we are an elite team. And that was a huge accomplishment, probably my greatest accomplishment as a coach, because it takes an absolute team effort to accomplish elite. It's not just one person, it's a collective team effort to accomplish elite. I'm also a Success Club 10 legend, which means I have accomplished Success Club 10 for 2 years, 24 months consecutively, never missed a month of Success Club 10 in 2 years. And so that makes me really proud, because that means that whatever I'm doing is working. So that is what I want to share with you guys tonight. What am I doing? I sat down and I thought to myself, what am I doing on a monthly basis to hit Success Club 10 and more? And many times I have anywhere from Success Club 16 is usually my average, up into, Success Club 24. So I want to share that with you guys. And I want you to know that I am no different than you. I have the same fears. I have the same, doubts. I have the same feelings inside of me, and I have the same skills. I might have been in this a little bit longer than you, and I might have decided that this was for me quicker than you decided it was for you, but I promise that I am no different than you. Every single thing and way more that I've accomplished or that we've accomplished, you can accomplish as well. So that's the most important thing I want you to know. So let's chat about inviting. So before anything, before you sit down to invite, there are some behind the scenes things that I recommend and that I do on, a regular basis, and that I definitely encourage my team and my coaches to do. I work from a Mac Daddy list. And when I say Mac Daddy list, I mean that is like a list of people. Those are names. And I have lots of these Mac Daddy lists that I've collectively basically filled out over the course of time. But basically, this is going to be the list that I work from. And from this list, I'm going to do a couple strategies. Forming is a Beachbody term, and that means family, occupation, recreation, and motivation. So those people on my Mac Daddy list, I am going to get to know better. I want to know more things about them. And the form kind of like approach is just that gives you some things to like talk about. And how do you get to know people? Well, you talk about their family. You talk about what they do for a living. You talk about what they like to do for fun, what motivates them, what goals they might have. Another very easy method is the LCQ method. It's just an easy method to get to know people: like, comment, and question. And here's something else to think about. If you are a Facebook user, like many of us are, the more you like and comment and question on other people's posts, the more you then show up in their news feed. So please get in the habit of being engaged with other people. We're not just putting stuff out there and expecting people to fall in our lap, because many of you guys can attest that is not the way this business works. We have to genuinely form relationships with people. And once you form that relationship with them, then it becomes so much easier, so much more comfortable, and so much more natural to share what it is that you're doing and how you can help them change their life for the better. I like to say no inviting bombs. We do not want to be dropping invitation bombs on anybody, because that is not comfortable. That never ends well. And that's that kind of like icky salesperson feeling that we can get. And I will tell you, I used to do that when I was a new coach. I would basically go down my friend list of like 200 people, because when I first signed up, I had like 200 friends. And all the ladies, all the ladies got an invite bomb. Boom, 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 boom. Like, I know I haven't talked to you in 10 years, but hey, do you want to join my challenge group? And let me just tell you, that did not go very well. And that's because I didn't have relationships with these people. Here I am falling out of the clear blue sky, like asking them if they want to do something with me. Why would they want to do anything with me? They don't really know much about me at this point in my life. And at that point in my life, I wasn't even that active on social media. So that was even more strange. Like, here comes Erica Buzzard, just like dropping invite bombs. So that's kind of what we don't want to do. Rather than that, we want to form relationships, and we want to really get to know people, because the people that you form relationships with today are going to be your clients of tomorrow, are going to be the people that trust you and want to work with you tomorrow, because they're going to see the value in what you do. And they're going to see that you care more about than just selling them a challenge pack. You actually do care about them as a person. And that's what you need to recognize. We do care about people. We are in the business of caring about people. That's what coaches are. We care. We cheer people on. We love them. We support them. We reach out our hand. When they fall, we want to be the one to pick them back up. That is what coaching is. So having a social media presence every single day is really going to help with that relationship building. Because if you're like not active on Facebook but you send like messages randomly, people are going to be like, what exactly is that person doing? I'm not sure what that person is doing. Is this like a new fad, or is this like something they're serious about? And so they really are watching you. So by having a social media presence daily, and I mean, when I first started, I sat down to at least post once a day on social media. I posted at least once a day, but usually it was twice, in the morning and in the evening. Now I post 2 to 3 times a day. Don't stress yourself out if you're not that active with posting on social media right now. Don't think you have to go all in and post 3 times a day, but you do need to post at least once a day. Because when people go to your page, like as you're expanding your network and stuff, and people go to your page, you want there to be a variety of basically what you represent. You want them to go to your page and know what you're all about. So I'm going to share with you guys the approach that I use and that I highly, highly recommend, and that is the jab hook approach. So we'll get to that in just a second. But you also want to be adamant about increasing your contacts daily. I have now over 2,500 friends. I told you before that I started with like 200 to 300 friends on Facebook. And I now have, after 3 years, over 2,500. And that was because I was intentional about increasing my contacts. I was intentional about getting referrals and becoming friends of friends of friends. And just basically like, you know what, the Kevin Bacon, like 7 degrees of separation or whatever, like that was like my approach. I'm like, I am going to get to know as many people as I can. And the way I approach everything that I do with this business is I think about this as a blessing. I think this business is a blessing. My fitness support groups are a blessing. This free group is a blessing. This team is a blessing. This product, Shakeology, the 22-minute hardcore, 21-day fix, these are blessings. These are changing people's lives. The business is blessing people financially. So when I add people, I think about it like that, because I know a lot of coaches share with me, oh my gosh, it's so weird. I feel so weird like sending people friend requests and like I've never met them before. It's not weird. That's how social media works. Okay. That is why people have thousands and thousands of friends on social media, because that is the age we live in. So don't stand in your own way and think like, oh my gosh, that's so weird, because that's not maybe how we grew up, or that's not how things were back in the day when we were like, you know what I mean? Like really social and active back in high school and stuff. That is how it is now. Okay. So here's the perspective you need to take. This is a blessing. I am simply trying to bless other people and share this blessing with others. Okay. And as you bless others, then you become more blessed. So you have to change your mindset and you have to think of this as a blessing. And so like I shared yesterday, please replace the word Beachbody with blessing. Think of it in your mind. Blessing, blessing, blessing. Like all I'm trying to do is bless people. And that will make it so much easier. And it will make it so much easier to send the invite. It will make it so much easier to increase your contacts and to grow your audience. If you're still having trouble with getting yourself in the mindset, I highly recommend doing PD before you sit down to invite. Personal development, which is another one of the vital behaviors. Motivational videos. There's some fantastic motivational videos on YouTube. You can just literally go and like Google motivational videos. If there's certain types of music that really get you fired up, or if there's a book like You Are a Badass that you love and you've went through and you've basically dog-eared and highlighted, go back and read those awesome pages that you just couldn't put down. I am reading the book right now called The Circle Maker, and there is this chapter that makes me feel like the President of the United States of America. And so what I do is I go through and I read it all the time. Before I do anything that's like monumental or big or scary, I read it and it makes me feel so powerful. So that would be something that you would want to do before you sit down to invite. And get excited about sharing this. I am incredibly passionate about Beachbody. And this is not how I was my first year. I was not this passionate about Beachbody when I first started. And that's because I didn't know that as much about it. the more I've gotten to know Beachbody as a company and what we stand for and who we are as a community, the more I am just like so excited about this, and that we have the opportunity to bless other people with this is the icing on the cake. So get excited about it. So that's what you got to do behind the scenes. So that all is going to happen, before you even sit down to press send on your invite. This I want to show you is my jab hook approach, or the jab hook approach. Many coaches use the jab hook approach. I don't want to say it's my approach. It's many people's approaches because it's a very good approach. So here is what it's all about. So much like a boxer who's going to put a couple jabs out there into the universe, then eventually after they have a couple jabs out there, then they're going to come in with that hook, and that's going to kind of land or seal the deal. So these are some wonderful examples of jabs. You can see a couple of mine on the left-hand side. Sharing the blessings of Beachbody would be your jabs, whether that's recognition, whether that's gifts from Beachbody for Earning Success Club. So in the month of March, if you hit Success Club, you earn a sample pack of the Performance Line. So when that gets shipped to you in the mail, you open that box and you act like a kid on Christmas and you take a picture of yourself and you post about it. That is a jab. You are sharing Beachbody with others. You're not saying at the end of that, like, come buy a performance pack. You're just sharing, like, oh my gosh, Beachbody showers us with things like, Sam Floor performance packs. I cannot wait to try Energize. That is a jab. You're not inviting or like asking a question like, come join me, or do you want to join me? Or, if you're interested in this, do this. It's simply putting it out into the universe. I also like to talk to people about what Beachbody is, because I think we inadvertently think that everybody knows what Beachbody is. Everybody knows what coaches do. That is wrong. Everybody does not know what coaches do. I know so many people who are like, now what is coaching and how do I, like, they think that you might have to be an expert at something or have to have like years of experience. And it's like, no. So I try to make Beachbody and coaching make sense to the common average everyday person. So this one down here just basically talks about like what my goals are in my fitness support group. And that is to help people on their health and wellness journey and to help them realize that they can live a better life and stuff like that. And so that would be a jab. Erin posted this one up here. It was like a sweaty selfie, which sweaty selfies are really great jabs. Really great jabs, because especially if you're in the middle of doing a Beachbody program, like the 3-day refresh or the 22-minute hardcore or the 21-day fix, you can easily make a jab out of what your meal was that day, or your Shakeology, or why you love Shakeology, or, your workout and how you got your workout in at home, even working around a very busy schedule with children and a full-time job and all those types of things. Okay, so those are great jabs. The 4 vital behaviors, I was just thinking about this earlier. Those are great jabs too. Like personal development, share something that you've learned on personal development. That's a great jab. Share how you've grown as a person and why you love being a Beachbody coach and why you love helping people. Share other people's stories, like the recognition piece, the vital behavior recognition, like Laren down here. She has an incredible transformation story. She is a SoulFit coach as well. But she basically, you can tell that she just feels more confident and she's just really transformed herself. So Natalie gave a shout out to Laren. That is another example of a jab. Nobody here in any of these posts said, are you interested in joining my fitness support group? But yet this still shed light on Beachbody and the blessing of Beachbody. Okay, so those are examples of jabs. So you want to jab, 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 like maybe 4 to 5 jabs and then have a hook. You want to jab every single day. Okay, so let's talk about the game plan. So the game plan has to do with basically monthly. So you've got to figure out what groups you want to do each month. And you want to do that with enough time, obviously, to invite people to those groups. So you want to determine when and what you are inviting people to, whether it's a free group, whether you're doing like a 5-day like salad challenge, or you're going to do like a squat and abs challenge, or you're going to do a crock pot challenge group, or you're going to do a clean eating group. Those are all examples of some free groups that we've done in our team. And there's lots of people who are always ready to do free groups. So if you are one of those coaches that's like, I've never done one, what's a free group? How do I do it? I'd love to do one. put a message out into our team page, and I promise you there will be lots of bites because people are always looking to co-coach with others. Perhaps you're ready to do a fitness support group. And the fitness support group is kind of like your typical challenge group. I like to use the word fitness support group because I think the word challenge is very intimidating. So I use the word fitness support group when I talk about challenge groups. And then obviously sneak peek. So these are all things you would invite people to: a free group, a fitness support group, business opportunity, or sneak peeks. So you got to determine when and what you're going to invite people to. And then using the Facebook events has been huge for my business, huge for my business. And I'm going to tell you exactly how I use events. And then you want to have your Mac Daddy list handy of people. And then once you go to create your event, that Mac Daddy list, you're going to hand select people who you think would be perfect for that event. So for me, this month, I am doing the 22-minute hardcore boot camp. So I went through my Mac Daddy list and through my pipeline, and I hand selected about 30 people who I thought would be fantastic for this boot camp group. And I went in and I added them all to the group. And then I also will turn around and send them all a personal invitation. And a lot of times I will send a voice message on Facebook. And I will get to that in just a second. Here's when I want to take a time out. If you see something on this presentation, feel free to snap a photo. That helps me immensely when I have like a photo to refer back to. So don't feel like you have to like write every single solitary thing down. This will be available obviously to you to go back through and look at as well later. So just so you know, if I move too fast for you, I promise that you will have access to this information. Okay, so let's keep it moving here. Let's talk about what I do when I create an event. And I'm just going to move my little picture over this way. So here are my tips to creating an event. And I do this for every challenge group that I do. And you can do this for free groups. You can do this for sneak peeks into the business opportunity. You can do this for paid groups, fitness support groups, like I've done here for the 22-minute hardcore group. So let's take a look at some of the criteria that you're going to want to use when you go to create your event. First of all, you want to make it public. And here's why. Because when you make a public event and when people RSVP going or interested, what that's going to do is it's going to pop it up on their timeline, on their newsfeed. And that's going to get more eyes on this boot camp. And that is how people are going to know more about what it is that you're doing and perhaps, you know, pique a lot of people's interest because they're going to see like, oh, okay, here's Erica Buzzard. She's doing this 22-minute hardcore boot camp. Like, oh, that looks so cool. Oh, and look, you know, Natalie's going and Amanda's going and Jessica. Oh, okay, that sounds really awesome. It's for 8 weeks, you know, and they can get all the information and they don't have to be my friend to see this. It's public, okay? So that is a really cool feature. Because again, we want to be looking at cold market too. We don't just want to be looking at our, you know, who we know audience. We want to think bigger. Also, I like to keep it open for 2 weeks. And what I mean by keep it open for 2 weeks is you have your start date. So for example, my hardcore bootcamp start date was today. I'm going to say that the event is 2 weeks long. That's the maximum you can have for an event. Now you can create an event as early or as, you know, far off in the future as you want. But once the actual event starts, you only have a 2-week window following to basically have it be like an active event. Does that make sense? People can go back and look at past events, but Facebook only allows you to have an event for like 2 weeks once the event start date happens. So I always put the maximum time 2 weeks, and I'll tell you why, because there's actually a reason behind me doing it the maximum time. When it asks for location, I always put virtually from your home. Virtual is a very important word because virtual shows that you do not have to be in person. We're not getting together to do this workout. We're not, you know, going to the local gym. We don't have to all live in the same place. You can be anywhere and do this boot camp. So virtual is a very important word. I always put virtually from your own home. And you actually will have to type that in. Facebook won't give you that as an option. You will just type in the location virtually from your own home. Okay, so I always prepare my events 2 to 3 weeks prior and create a really eye-catching background. Beachbody has created some awesome branding for us for the 22-minute hardcore. I simply go to Google and I basically type in 22-minute hardcore, and there's so many different logos and different graphics and things to choose from. I always try to choose one with a trainer and with the actual like corporate logo. That way there is some brand recognition. So I create in Canva a background, a Facebook background, and I use before and afters as well as people from the test group. So you see we've got a lady and we have a man as well. And so you can see their before and afters from this exact program. I think that's important too, because people can actually see, oh, wow, these people are getting great results. So again, that's really helped for me. I always put the length, 8 weeks, and I put the name of the Beachbody program. I will say that, you know, although I'm calling this group the Summer Body Boot Camp, like now that we've started it, when I'm sharing it, I really want to make sure I use, for me, it's helpful to use the actual product that we're going to be doing, because I think if you do other things, it can be confusing. Now, that's not to say you can't do that or you shouldn't do that or it's wrong to do that. For me, I've just found that it's more helpful for me to have the conversation about what this group is. Because when people go to this, they know that, okay, it's 22-minute boot camp, hardcore boot camp type thing. It's also really good to have content in the event. So like make sure that when you go to create your event, you post something in for like the first post, maybe a description, or maybe it's a video of you, or maybe it's like the video that Beachbody made of that specific program. If you're doing a general like group, then obviously you're not going to have like 22-minute hardcore. So like if you're doing a group like Summer Baby Slim Down, I just totally made that up off the top of my head. You can use it if you want. But so if you are doing like a general group where everybody is doing something different, some people are doing the 21-day fix, some are doing boot camp or whatever, then probably you don't want to have a specific workout in the title of your event, because that would be kind of misleading. But if you are doing a program specific, then perhaps you could stick that in there. Okay, I also like to shout out my people once they sign up. Once they get all hooked up with their goodies, I like to give them a shout out like, hey girl, Renee just bought her challenge pack. She is ready to rock and she is going to crush this. Something very simple, shout out with an image, give her some love. I also like to, as the group starts, so like today, this group actually started. So for the next 2 weeks, I'm going to be posting in there different success stories of the people who are actually in the boot camp and the successes that people are having in the actual group. I'm going to post it in the event, because those people who are kind of watching who didn't sign up for it this time around, they're probably like, oh, wow, she lost like 5 pounds in the first week. And oh my gosh, look at her. Like, and then they're hearing the testimonies of people who are actually doing it. And so that's going to help them see that this is something that they should do, or they may want to do or look into next time around. So I like to post in the event within that 2-week window after the event starts. Don't forget to send a private message to all of the people that you invited. I know that you might think that, okay, so now I've added them to the event, so I'm off the hook and I don't have to send them a private invite. That's not a good idea. Send them a private invite still, and just let them know, you know, a little bit about the group and why you think it would be great for them and how much you would love to work with them. Don't talk about price. Don't get into all of the details. You're basically just inviting them, and I'll tell you in just a second how exactly I invite and what words I use. I love sending voice messages. That is how I invite all the time now, guys. I mean, I literally send voice messages to invite. I don't type out invites. I very rarely type out invites any longer. Another really cool feature from a desktop, if you create a message, a voice message on Facebook, and like, let's say I'm sending it to Rod, and I say, hey buddy, how's it going? And I tell him all about the 22-minute hardcore, and I tell him how much I would love to do this group with him. And I say, let me know your thoughts. Let me know if this is something you'd be interested in doing right now. I can't wait to hear from you. If I keep that generic and I don't like say, hey Rod, if I just say like, hey buddy, or hey friend, I can actually go in and I can click on that voice message in Facebook from my desktop, and it will allow me to send that exact same voice message to like anybody else I want to. So you can send the same voice message to numerous people. Okay, I would do it one at a time. I wouldn't send it as a mass, because that takes out that personalization piece. But if you make it generic enough, you can send it to multiple people. That saves you time. Okay. But again, that might take a little bit of tweaking, but it's super, 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 super easy to do. And when I say tweaking, I mean, if you're not familiar with voice messaging, it might take you a little bit of time to figure out exactly how to do that. Okay. So offering incentives is another great way to get people interested. I love the Fix8 Cookbook, regardless of what program I'm promoting. The Fix8 Cookbook is a fantastic incentive. It costs us $18 and it's like 15 PV. So it really is a awesome thing to offer people. I a lot of times will say, okay, the first 3 people who sign up get a Fix8 Cookbook, because that's going to get them continually connected to the 21-day fix, to Shakeology, to Beachbody. So I like to offer that as an incentive. Alrighty, so I think I just about covered that. So let me keep it moving here. So let's talk about what I say. First of all, when I have coaches who share with me that they're having a hard time inviting, I will oftentimes ask them to send me their invitation. And what I find is that we are creatures and we are guilty of over-informing. And I will be the first to say, I was the same way in the beginning. I would tell them every single thing. Okay. I broke it down and I was like, I am being so good. I am being such a good little Beachbody coach because I am just giving them everything. I am anticipating all their needs. That's not a good idea. Okay. Over-informing is going to be the death of you. And the reason why is because people are not reading what you write. Let me just say it. They're not. People have an attention span of 10 seconds. And if they can't read it in 10 seconds, they're going to not read it at all. So keep it short and sweet. Any longer than what I have down here at the bottom is too long. Always end with a question. Always end with a question. I mean, every single interaction you have with that person, end with a question. And then offering up a nice compliment or comment and letting them know that you haven't just regurgitated something to them. That makes it very helpful and comfortable too, especially if you're sending typed out messages. Obviously, if you're sending a voice message that you've sent the same message to 10 different people, it might be hard for you to really get very personal. But I'll tell you right now that just hearing your voice is all the personalization they need, because it's something different. And I can't tell you how many people get a voice message from me and they're like, oh my gosh, I had no idea. Or they'll try to do it and I can tell that they can't quite figure it out, because I'll get a bunch of 1 second messages. I'm like, come on, you got it. You got it. You got to hold your finger. Oh, okay. Oh, here it comes, and then it's a minute or something. But yeah, the voice message is a really, really cool route. But definitely you want to personalize when possible. So here is an invitation that I use, and I kind of tweak it depending. Hey, Natalie. I would say their name if you can, or Natalie's like, oh, I'm over here half asleep. No, I'm kidding. She's awake. So hey, Natalie, I'm just loving your positive energies these days. Keep it up. As you know, I'm obsessed with helping people get healthy and whole. And so I'm super stoked to be planning for my next virtual fitness support group. I like to explain what it is a little bit right there. My upcoming group will be based around Tony Horton's new 22-minute hardcore boot camp program. I'm so ready for this challenge to get myself ready for spring, and I'd love to do this with you. Would you like to hear more details about how this works? ? Does this sound like this would be something you'd be interested in doing right now? ? The reason I'm saying ? is because I want to emphasize the fact that you got to end with a question. I'm telling you right now that the 2 most important words in this entire invite is right now. Right now, ? That's how you want to end your invites, because right now gives a person a sense of urgency, and it gets them to say, is this something I'm ready to do right now? And what happens is they'll tell you, no, I'm not ready to do this right now, but next month I might be. Keep me posted. Or yes, actually, I'm so ready for something like this. So for whatever reason, right now is something that causes people to act, to respond, to move. And same thing with a question. Yesterday in the training, we talked about how funny it would be if we asked a person a question and they just sat there and ignored us. They didn't respond. It's very odd to have somebody ask you a point blank question and you not reply. That is why it's very important to end with a question. If you just end with something like, looking forward to hearing from you, or let me know your thoughts, you're never going to hear from people. Okay, so right now you need to say, every time I correspond with someone, I'm going to end with a question. And if I'm inviting them to something, then I'm going to use the words right now. Okay, so that's that. So let's look at the next example. And this is talking about price conversations. So price conversations, never discuss price unless it's specifically asked. And if it's specifically asked in the very first conversation, I wouldn't even answer it then. I promise you that the price conversation is something you want to be in control of. And let me talk about why. You don't want to ever bring up price, okay? Let them ask you, how much does this cost? Or, whatever they ask, you need to let them ask. You don't want to offer it up. You certainly don't want to talk about price in the invite. No, I wouldn't even say the word Shakeology in the invite. I would not even talk about the time constraint or the time commitment or anything like that. You are just simply getting that conversation started with them and seeing what their needs are right now. You are not going to be dropping all these Beachbody, words at them in that first interaction. But when you do feel it's a good time to talk about cost because they've asked about it and they've asked what the next steps are, then you need to add value to that price. For example, I always say promotional price. So for example, the 22-minute hardcore challenge pack is on special promotional price right now for just $160. Yes, the challenge pack was actually on special last month in March for $140. But every single challenge pack is a promotional price. Every challenge pack is a sale price because you're taking a fitness program, you're coupling it with Shakeology, and you're getting a deep basement discount. Okay? So when we say, oh, gosh, that was on special last month. I wish you would have asked me about this last month because you would have saved money. A person is not going to be happy when you say that. A person's going to be very mad that you said that because they're like, crap, I just lost out on $20, but if you don't say that ever, then they'd never feel like they got gypped. If you let them know, like, this is still a promotional price, this is a special price because, you're getting so much for your money. They don't need to know that it was on special last month. They don't need to know that. It's still on special because it's a challenge pack. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. So I always use promotional price. Even if it's something that's not on sale or is on sale or whatever, I always use the word promotional price. And you get hooked up, and here's what all you get. You get the full 8 weeks fitness program. You get a super easy to follow nutrition guide. If they were getting the 21-day fix, I would say you also get 7 color-coded containers that are super easy to use. You get membership in our private fitness support group where all of us will be doing the program too. And you get me as your coach to guide you, motivate you, and inspire you every day. On top of that, you get a 30-day supply of Shakeology, which is the true game changer in nutrition. Do you see how I just added the value to that $160 price? Please don't just reply back when they say, how much is it? $160. Send. You might as well just shoot yourself in the foot. Like, that is not going to build value and show them what really they're getting. So you want to add value whenever you're having the price conversation. Next up, follow up. Follow up, follow up, follow up. That inviting behavior, that inviting vital behavior, you might as well just put a dash follow up, okay? Because following up is hand in hand with inviting. And so you need to follow up with people if you don't get a response after 2 to 3 days. After you've implemented the strategies that I've shared tonight, ending with a question, being short and sweet on the front end, ending with a question, using words like right now, 2 to 3 days later, follow up with them. Keep your nose in your pipeline. Make sure that you are kind to people if they say no. Make sure you still love on people throughout their journey, even if their journey hasn't included you yet. Because remember, we are in this for the long haul. We are going to be here. We're going to be doing this until the cows come home. At least I know I am. I'm always committed to being here a year from now. And if you are committed to being here a year from now, that no, I promise you, will turn into a yes, because that no is just a not right now. They're not ready for whatever reason. And people have a right not to be ready. And we're going to talk about how many no's people normally say before they actually say yes. And it's going to baffle you. It's going to shock you. Don't burn bridges. And you definitely want to follow up with people if they've shown interest and then become MIA, because something's happened, but you want to let them know that you care. You're not just there about the sale, but just let them know that, you're thinking of them and you really, we're hoping that if this is something they were interested in doing, that you could, help them walk through the process. So here is a follow-up that I like to use. Hey girl, our boot camp group is really coming together and I'm so excited for what's to come. I would love to have a chance to get, for you to have a chance to get in on all the action. No pressure at all for me. I like to say that all the time. No pressure for me. No pressure at all for me. Because I do want them to know, like, it's not about me. I'm not pressuring you. I just want you to be able to get yourself hooked up. I want you to be able to get your goodies in time. I always say goodies. I never say product. I say goodies because I'm always trying to put a positive spin on everything that we do and every transaction that we have. I'm trying to make it positive because it is positive. This is a blessing. Remember, this has the opportunity to change their life emotionally, spiritually, financially, in so many different ways, physically, and we need to keep that in mind 100% of the time. So this is a follow-up I like to use. What questions do you have for me, and are you ready to do this with me right now? Again, short and sweet. I didn't over-inform. I didn't go into too much detail because, again, people are not going to take the time to read really elaborate conversations. They're just not. So follow up and then follow up some more. And here is why following up is so incredibly important. Why should we follow up? I found this to be so interesting. 48% of salespeople never follow up with a prospect. 48%. So that's like half. Half never follow up. But if you look down here at the bottom, 80% of sales are made on the 5th to 12th contact. So that's telling you that you're going to probably have at least 5 interactions with a person before they're actually going to purchase anything. Okay, that is a lot of interactions. That is why it's so important to form relationships. That's why it's so important to like, comment, question, to use that Mac Daddy list and work from it to get to know people. And then once there is some sort of a relationship there, then you invite, because you don't want the very first contact to be that invite, because that is not going to end well. That is going to look very, very self-serving, and that is not leading with your heart. That's leading with what you can make out of that relationship. Okay? So it's so important that we follow up, and it's so important that we create relationships. It's essential. It's essential. So be a blessing. You have the opportunity to bless other people. You have the opportunity to rescue people. You have the opportunity to share something that will change every single facet of their life. If my coach would not have extended her hand out to me and invited me to this, I would still be living a very average life. I would not be able to enjoy my children as much as I do now. I would not be able to afford to go on vacation. I would not be able to afford the home that I currently live in. I am forever changed by Beachbody. We are forever changed because of Beachbody. So please know that every time you send an invitation, you are blessing somebody. It's not your responsibility to prejudge them on whether or not they want to be blessed by you. It's their place to judge. Team Beachbody, your team, this team, you have the power to transform people emotionally, physically, spiritually, and financially. So please don't keep this blessing to yourself. Please bless others by sharing and inviting like it is your job, because frankly, it is your job. So be a blessing, get out of your own way, use what we've chatted about tonight, and get out there and reach out your hand and start inviting people to this blessing. So here's my call to action. Create a Mac Daddy list and make it a point to get to know better those people on this list by forming, by LCQing, by getting to know them and genuinely caring about them. Also, please write a quick list of 10 people that you need to follow up with. And I can tell you right now that every single one of us has a list of 10 people. We probably have a list of 100 people. I mean, let's be real, that we need to follow up with. Maybe we've had conversations with recently, or maybe it's been a while. Maybe it's former challengers. Maybe it's people that you've, let some conversations go to the wayside, but make a list of 10 people you will follow up with. And then also create an event for your next group using the strategies that I shared with you tonight. So what I'm going to leave you with, action is the universal language of success. Knowledge without action, education without action is meaningless. The only way you will grow your business, the only way you will reach your potential, the only way you will maintain and carry out this blessing is action. So thank you so much for tuning into this call. Thank you to everybody from Indiana and beyond. We really hope that this content blesses you and your business. And if you have any questions whatsoever, feel free to ask. Thank you so much for watching this to the end, and have a wonderful and amazing day.